Juan Ramon Arrasate, his friends call him JR. Most of the highlight fans call him Arra. Of course, a great career for many years here, and still look in great shape. He looked like he stepped out there at any time. We often tease you about that, but you get a chance to throw the ball around ever?
No, I do it once in a while, but because of my injuries and everything, then I had to ice it down, so it's not fun for me anymore.
There's not going to be any kind of Mario Lemieux or Michael Jordan comeback in your future, huh?
No, I don't think so.
You're happy with that players management. How about your brother? I haven't talked to you for quite some time. I know he retired about a year and a half ago. What's he doing? He living in Spain?
Yeah, he went back to Spain, and he's doing fine, and he also is in charge of the school for us. Some of the different schools in Spain.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah, so he's going to run the amateur program there in the school for us.
Okay, let's talk about that first. I know that you made a trip over to Spain not too long ago with Benny Collette and Dan Licciardi. You went to France as well. Did you go to France also?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, so you had a chance to review the future of the sport as far as young players go. What did you find over there? I know that a few years back, people were kind of worried about the future of the sport. Kids were playing soccer and getting away from the sport of highlight. Is there a future for some of those kids over there?
Actually, that's what we tried to do. We went there, and some of the schools where it wasn't hardly any kids playing there, we tried to encourage them and tried to give them some materials like balls and baskets and stuff like that. Even we're going to provide some of the teachers. We want to encourage them that the highlight still has a future in the United States, and see if we can start some kids playing there in Spain.
Did it work? I mean, has it been successful since you left? Have you heard it's picking up a little bit?
Yeah, my brother told me that some young kids are starting to play and everything, but schools and it takes a few years until you see some success. It's not like it happens like immediately.
Well, to me, it's a good sign for the sport that management here at Miami Highlight would spend the money on investing a little time over there, because why waste the time if we're going to be closed 2 years from now? I said to Benny Collette, why would you waste your time going over there, obviously? So that's a good sign for the future of the sport, that they want to keep developing players and they want to keep things going strong over here.
Yeah, the Benny Collette and Dan Licciardi, it's a good sign. The management, they looking on the future, and a few years back, looked like we closed in Tampa, we closed in a few frontons, and it didn't look like very well. But now, they want to highlight to maintain it, and they wanted to highlight to do good, and they look into the future.
Just a little bit of an aside. Obviously, you grew up in the Basque Country. You came over here, didn't speak much English, and you've been married and children over here and become a big sports fan. I know you go to Dolphin games and enjoy yourself. Do you miss the life over there, the Basque style of life? You ever have any thoughts about moving back there at all?
I had when I stopped playing highlight, then we were contemplating it. And we were thinking about it, that we might do that and everything. But I do miss the life there, especially for children and for the kids and stuff. It's a really nice way of for the kids to grow up.
A good atmosphere to raise the children.
Yeah, it is a good atmosphere. But I can't complain. I have a good life here. United States has been kind to me. My wife is American, my kids are American, and I like living here too. So I can't complain.
Definitely. Well, I know that a lot of your time goes into coaching now as a players manager, instructing players, bringing up youngsters. First of all, a couple of new guys on the roster right now, backcourters, Safant and Retegi. Tell us a little about those two guys. I haven't really seen them play very much, and how have they done so far?
Safwan is a veteran player. We brought him here from the Philippines. More like we need him at that basis because a lot of the players, we got like a bunch of players that retired at one time, and at that moment we couldn't find any young kids in Spain, a lot of them. But he's doing a good role. He's filling up a good role for us.
Also, Retegi, how about him?
He's a player.
He's from Mexico, right?
No, Retegi is from
Safan is from
France.
Mexico originally.
Retegi is from France. He's the player who he doesn't have a lot of amateur experience. Even that he's like 24 years old. I think he he needs some development here. And I think, you know, playing every day here with a very quality players, I think he's gonna develop okay.
Now we know that guys go on vacation, especially starting June, and a pretty heavy vacation schedule, maybe 5 and 6 guys at a time. You're going to need some other players. Who are the thoughts of bringing players in right now? Obviously some from Fort Pierce.
Yeah, we want to bring in Cancio, which the fans here are familiar with him. He played here before. We bring in Tico, another young Cuban player that you know, he's got potential to be pretty good. And then we bring in Ari, you know, American kid that played in Fort Pierce. He got a really nice season there.
Right.
So we bring him here, and then we bring in this young Mexican kid, which he's only 19 years old. His name is Manuel.
Manuel, okay.
And we bring him here. He's still gonna go through some develop because you know, right now the kids don't have like a college type of place where they can develop. So they really develop in a major league. So we're gonna bring him here and put him with older veteran players, and he's going to develop here.
So basically they're thrown right into the fire.
Yes.
Baptism by fire. They have to go against veteran players like Orbea and Horeche, and I guess you learn your lessons pretty quick that way.
Yes, you know, that's the only way. In the beginning they struggle. They struggle a little bit usually when they come, and the crowd is tough over here, and the players are veteran players that they know how to play. So in the beginning they struggle, you know, that was the case with Zelenka, but you know, they developed good, and now Zelenka is doing excellent, and you know, it's few guys like that who develop here.
Speaking of Zelenka, he teamed with Cisneros to win this tournament up at Fort Pierce. You got to be kind of proud of that your young guys are doing very well, not to mention the veterans that always seem to do well in these tournaments, but these guys won this doubles event up there. Zelenka has that great serve and does very well. We are going to take some phone calls. You see the number there? Let's pick this one up, see if someone's on there. How you doing?
Hello.
Hi, you're on the show. What's up?
Yo pudiera hablar con Jesús Ramos. Jesús Ramos there.
No, I guess you got the wrong number. Sorry, you're on the wrong extension. Okay, well, live TV, what can you do? But going back to Zelenka and Cisneros, tell us a little about those two guys. Zelenka has the great serve. Cisneros is a guy that can climb the wall and make some exciting catches, but they seem to really be growing in their performance.
Oh yeah, those are two young guys who got the feature here, and when they went to the tournament in Fort Pierce, and they did excellent. You know, they won the tournament, and with pretty good talent there. Dania had a couple good teams, and Orlando had a couple good teams, and they ended up winning the tournament. So that tells you, you know, they young players who's got a good future here.
Now, how about the NAJF tournament? Obviously, you're probably disappointed that our guys didn't win it. We gave all the congratulations in the world to Orlando with a nice job for those guys, Perry and Urquiaga, getting out from the very beginning. I know your family is very good friends with Urquiaga for a long time, so that kind of had to feel good for you. See him do well.
Yeah, he was really, in my eyes, like the most valuable player of the tournament because he really played well, and he really played well both rounds, the qualifying round and then the final round. He played very well, and when somebody plays that well, you know, all you had to do is, you know, tip your hat to them and congratulate them.
Right. Ricaldi and Pedroso, the first year that they played together in that event, they finished 8th. This year they finished 4th, so they're moving up, but they also played quite well.
Yeah, they did play well, and you know, it's just you know, Urquiaga he got a weapon there where he was scoring so many points from the back. You know, we have like Pedroso is like a very good defensive player, but he doesn't score that many points. And but Urquiaga, he really dominated.
Michelena, obviously still playing at the top of his game, threatening some more titles again this season. Everybody knows all about Mitch, and we might get a chance to speak to him later. But what about the big Frenchman in the backcourt? Just such a huge future ahead of him. Storza, already maybe one of the very best backcourters in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I can't say enough about him. He's a really tremendous player here. In this front, he really dominates it. He wins like almost in every performance. Very rarely he goes one performance without winning. He's really good player. And even when he went back to Spain last summer, you know, he dominated it. He won the World Cup Chalus, which is not like a top caliber player. I mean, he is a good player, but he's not really like the caliber of player with like Michelena or Recalde and these people. And Irastorza ended up winning the World Cup with them. So that tells you that he's got a tremendous future ahead of him.
And also was the most valuable player of that whole tournament at the World Cup. So it kind of carried that team, which is tough for a backcourter to do.
Yeah, well, over there in those big frontons, the frontons over there are a lot longer than here, and over there the backcourt has a little different role than here. In the backcourt has to be so strong there because the frontons are bigger and the balls are a little different than here. So, usually when you have a good backcourt, the front court plays more comfortable and ended up killing a lot of points.
Coming up is another tournament event up in Milford, Connecticut. You going to make the trip up there to watch these guys?
Well, I got to see how it works out with the vacations of my assistant players managers. And stuff, but if I can do it, I'm going to go up there.
Okay, Lehardy is going to play with us, Irastorza. They've done well in the past. They won a tournament up there, I guess, about a year and a half ago. The Mohegan Sun event. They won that. What kind of a team do they represent in this Milford tournament for you?
Oh, they do very good team. They won that tournament last year, and then Recalde and Pedruso won the winter tournament over there. I didn't remember what it was called. But those two teams, they did very well over there, and that's why, actually Milford requested those teams because they both are defending champions from last year. And
some people say Recalde and Pedroso is maybe not the best possible pairing for them because you mentioned Recalde is more of a Pedroso is more of a defensive type player, and that kind of forces Recalde maybe to play a little bit more outside than he would like to. Would you prefer to put together a different team there?
No, actually, they did very well, and here Pedruso is as good as players we can send besides Irastorza. They play very well, and over there the front end is a little slower than here. And the right side backcourters don't do as much as damage like they do in these Florida frontons.
Right.
So he did excellent over there, and they were defending champions. So it's not, doesn't make sense sending somebody else.
Okay, well, that's all coming up the month of May, May 19th, 20th, and 21st, and I'll have a chance to come here to Miami Highlight, I guess, and see all those games and even bet on those games. So they'll show the simulcast here, I assume, as they have done in the past.
Yes.
So one other thing before you go, and that is now some of these games are on the internet, and you have a place on the website, floridagaming.com, where people can go and actually click on live performances and sit at home in their computer all over the world and watch these games. What kind of response are you getting from that? Are you hearing anything about that? Maybe some people in Spain checking in on some of these games?
Not very much, but I heard a couple of players saying that their parents have watched them and that makes pretty interesting that their parents back home can watch their kids playing all the way in Miami Highlight.
Is that the future, you think, of the sport, to try to bring it to a larger audience? Do you think it's going to be successful in
I hope so.
Expanding the game?
I hope so. I think the internet opens so many doors now for everything, including other companies and everything. But even if Highlight can get a little piece of it, I love to.
No question about it. Before you go, tell me, in the past 6 months, who's a player that's really impressed you as really improving his game a lot, that we can look to maybe step up to the next level of highlight?
One player that had a really good season this year is Dennis. I put him in the later games and he responded very well. Another player that having a really good season is Lopetegui. Lopetegui is having a
I noticed that he's right up near the top in wins.
Yeah. He's really having a great season, and I'm pretty much when I need a backcourt, those are the players that I pick from the early games and put them in the late games and responded very well.
What do you tell those guys? I mean, obviously you've been through all levels of the game yourself. You've been very successful in the feature games. When they go from that, say, middle game level up to the late games, do you give them any pointers on how to do a little bit better?
Sometimes, if I see when if they're not doing things right, but so far, I've seen them. They're responding well, and they're doing good job. So I leave them alone. Okay,
so season going well. You happy with all these guys out there? I guess it gets pretty tough out there on their bodies. Really, it's like serious pounding every day, 8 performances a week, and it gets to this time of year, it's pretty tough on some of these guys. I know they're looking forward to vacations.
Yeah, it's a tough year. It's a tough year, and I understand now. You know, the vacations start in May, and players are starting looking forward, and I understand that very well. You know, we have a lot of veteran players here that are between 35 and 45, and we got a lot of players in the late 30s, and I'm sure their bodies need some rest.
Okay, you're sure that if some guy comes in not feeling well one day, you're not going to step out there and strap that cest on again, huh?
Well, you never know. I'm not going to say never.
That's right. That's what Michael Jordan said. You're 99.9% sure you're not coming back, though.
Yes.
Okay.